Hello, this video tutorial is going to show you the main lead management page in Ricochet. When you first log in, it will take you to the lead management page, which as an administrator, you will see all of the leads in Ricochet, whether they are owned by an agent or they are unowned by a user on your system. Starting at the right-hand side at the very top, you'll see a drop-down for your quick link to your user settings and a logout button. I highly recommend admins and regular users to utilize the logout button to sign out of Ricochet instead of simply closing Google Chrome. Just below that, we have our team member Slideout, where you as an admin will be able to see all of the users in your organization and see which status they are in, whether they're busy, on the phone, away, lunch, online, wrap up, or offline. From here, if you hit the double down arrows, you could see which calling queues everybody is enabled for. And to keep in mind, as you add new users into Ricochet, you will need to first refresh Ricochet if you are already signed in so that you'll see the new user that you've added, and then enable or disable them for the calling queues that they should be added into. If you want to enable someone, you simply click where it is a black background and white text to enable them. And if you want to disable them from a particular calling queue, you simply click the blue background white text and it will turn them off from that particular calling queue. You could zoom in and out depending on how many team members you have, and you can also expand this to go full screen across your Google Chrome browser. We have filters where you can filter by users who are online, busy, wrap up, offline, on the phone, ringing, away, or lunch. And you could select any combination of those. If you leave them all unselected, it will show you everybody within your company. And you can also filter by role. So if you wanted to look at everyone that was an agent, it would filter by your agent access permissions, or administrators, or branch managers if you had any, and so forth. You can also create groups. So if you wanted to do a group chat with several individuals, you click the plus button here next to groups, you give the room a name, and you select your users that you want to add into that group, and click create. And now you have a brand new test group. And as the owner of that group, you have the option to close the conversation or delete the conversation altogether. You can also add or remove users from that group. Okay. You have the option to filter by teams. So if you have different teams in your organization, you can filter by those, or you can filter by branch if you have multiple branches. And to collapse this back to the right, you simply click anywhere outside of the box or click hide all. I'm going to open it back up. You do also have an option in your company settings where you can keep this team member Slideout docked to the right-hand side. So as you navigate Ricochet, it will not collapse down. I have that currently enabled on this test account, but by default, it is set to automatically collapse if you click anywhere outside of the team member panel. Just below that is our task calendar. And this is where, as an administrator, you will see every user in your company, tasks that they have created for their leads or for themselves. And you can filter by specific users listed here in the Pick User dropdown. You can also change the view from monthly to weekly to daily. And you can also view the details of the task by simply clicking on it. And it will give you some details surrounding this task. This task was just created not from a lead, so you will not see any of the options. However, if it was created from a lead, which we'll show you later in further training tutorials, you will be able to view the details of the task and the lead, and also go to the lead right from this pop-up. Okay. And also on the task page, you can filter by the particulars of the task. You can filter by a date or date range. You can also filter by tasks that are past due. You can select all branches. You can select specific teams. And you can also filter by specific users. And from the Tasks tab, you could see the name of the task, when it was due, the name of the lead, the priority that was set for that task, the owner of that task, and the status, whether it was open or closed. And in the actions, you can view the lead, you can view the task details, you can edit the task, you can mark the task as completed, you can click the call, and you can delete the task altogether. Also from here, you can create a brand new task. So if you are creating a task for personal reasons and not necessarily tied to a lead, you can do so from the new task button. Okay. Going back up to the top here, we have our drop-down for user statuses. There are 4 statuses that your users can select. We have online, busy, away, and lunch. Busy, away, and lunch essentially do the same thing. They take your users out of the eligibility to call from the automated calling queues within Ricochet. They will still be able to manually make an outbound call, whether they're doing click the call or typing in a phone number manually. And they'll also be able to receive inbound calls to their direct dial phone number, and also potentially through your inbound IVR phone numbers when they are in a busy, away, or lunch status. Online status will begin the process of calling leads in your automated calling queues. If there's a lead available in any of your calling queues, when an agent puts themselves online, the system will automatically process that outbound call. And to the left of your statuses are your calling queues that you can be enabled for. Starting from left to right, they do go in priority level, starting with real time. Inbound IVR is a separate calling queue, which does not fall into the priority calling of real time through campaign queue. So that's more of a separate calling queue. Real time is when a lead vendor or lead source that you are purchasing leads from posts a lead into your system, and you have an agent that is in an online status at that very moment that the lead posts in. As soon as that lead posts in, if somebody is online and eligible to call that lead that just posted in, their system will fire off a call to that lead. Live queue is when a vendor or lead source sends a lead to you in real time. However, there are no users in an online status at that very moment to call the lead. That lead will then go into the live queue and have a call scheduled as soon as an available agent goes online. And as long as there's no real-time leads at that very moment that that agent goes online, it will process the call to that lead in the live queue. Evening queue, or Eve queue as it's abbreviated here, is leads that post in either after company hours or after FTC permissible calling hours. The leads will fall into the evening queue and will be called the next business day that you sign in, and the timing is legal to call that lead. And again, that lead will get processed as long as there are no real-time or live queue leads to be called before that evening queue. Drip dial is what I like to refer to as the immediate follow-up queue. And what that does is, as you get your brand new leads that come into Ricochet, your drip dial queue will be your follow-up queue to those leads if you cannot get a hold of them on that initial call. Take, for example, you get a brand new lead that posts in for John Smith, and you cannot get a hold of them. So you status the lead as attempting contact, and that lead will then get a scheduled drip dial call made at the intervals that you have set within your company settings. And the leads will continue to get called in the drip dial for the intervals that you have set until the lead is marked as contacted. The last queue is CAM queue, or campaign queue, or dialer campaign. You'll hear that interchange throughout these tutorials. They all essentially mean the same thing. What the CAM queue is more of an extended attempt to contact your leads. You can create a dialer campaign for both your contacted leads and your non-contacted leads. For your non-contacted leads that come in real-time live queue or evening queue and have gone through your drip dial cycle of calling, those leads, depending on how you've configured your dialer campaign, will then go into that particular dialer campaign and get called at the minimum interval that you have selected within that dialer campaign. Okay. Moving over to the left-hand side, we have our notification bar for voicemails and company voicemails. So personal voicemails and company voicemails are listed here. And you'll, as an admin, have notifications for both. We also have notifications for text messages and emails if you are driving your emails into Ricochet. And again, if you click the voicemail button, it will pull up the voicemail section. And for those who have access to company voicemails, which would be you as an administrator and anybody else that you have selected, they will be able to see all of the voicemails that get left on your inbound IVR phone numbers. And from there, they can listen to those voicemails, mark them as viewed, or delete them, or click to call them back right from the voicemail box. And if there's a lead tied to that particular phone number that called in, and you click the magnifying glass, it will take you to that lead. Okay, and the same thing at the top for your personal voicemails. This is somebody who is calling your direct dial phone number and leaving you a voicemail. You will be able to listen, mark as viewed, delete, or click the call. And if the phone number they called in from is tied to a lead, you can click the magnifying glass and it will take you to that lead. To get away from this box, you could do one of two things. You can either click the close button or just click anywhere outside of the voicemail box, and it will take you back to where you were. The text messaging button will take you to the text dashboard, where it filters by default for the last 30 days or last month, and will show you all of the text messages that you have received. Now, as an administrator, you will see all text messages that come into your system, whether they're sent to an individual or sent to you or sent to one of your inbound IVR numbers. You will see every single text message on this dashboard. And from here, you can view who the text was from, who it went to. If there's a lead associated, you'll see their full name, the state that they are a part of, and the message that they had sent. And from here, there's also a collective bubble where you can see the chat history. So you could see that a text message was sent at 3:05 p.m. from my phone number to this cell phone saying testing, along with our default stop to opt out message at the end. And then right above that, they replied back saying testing the new one. And it went from their cell phone to my direct dial phone number. Now from here, you can mark the message as viewed, and it will decrease your bubble number by 1. And as an admin, you do have the ability to delete text messages from your system. It is not recommended to do so unless there is something sensitive or something that does not need to be on your system. You may go ahead and delete that. However, it is not recommended to delete your text messages from the system. for historical purposes within the lead. Back to the lead text message dashboard, you can also assign the conversation to someone. So if you click the plus button, you can assign the message to a user. You can view the lead. You can click to call the lead. You can reply. You can mark the entire text conversation as viewed. You can mark the lead to not be texted. So if they tell you, do not text me anymore, and you opt to mark them as not texted, you click this little brown button and it'll ask you if you want to mark the lead to not be texted, and you click OK, and it will prevent any outgoing text messages to be sent to that phone number. And then of course we have our delete button here. You can see what text messages were sent, and you can also go back to your received messages tab and click unread messages to see which ones have not been marked as read. And the same deal for emails. If you receive inbound emails, it will take you over on the left-hand side to your email messaging inbox and allow you to view your incoming emails. Okay. Now going back up to the top here, when you first log into Ricochet, it will be collapsed to the left. You just click the little hamburger at the top left, and it will expand the column and show you all of the different selections here. You have your direct dial Ricochet number. We have our dashboard, and we will cover all these in separate tutorial videos. You have a quick link to your dashboard, lead management, text messaging, email messaging, and tasks. And then we have configuration, which drives you into all of the different configurations of Ricochet. We have manage, where you can manage your agents, teams, branches, vendors, and dialer campaigns. And then we have a section for reports, where you can view call history, calling queues, agent performance reports, chat history, and scheduled reports.